Daith da, Ewi Nakan. Welcome to podcast number 149. So, me week last week. Well, since I spoke to ye, we had Valerie's funeral at St Izzy on Friday. And, God, it was beautiful weather. The weather was handsome. Church was packed. We had to put extra chairs out. And lovely couple, Valerie and Harold. And we did have a wonderful service there, I must admit. Friday evening, I tell you what, I'm lucky I'm here. We went for a walk. I've kind of got in a routine at the minute. It's something that's developed. Whereas every morning I'm up at 6:30 running with the dogs, usually up Colquite. And then every evening, me and Beth, we go walking with the dogs. Colquite or Ustons, one or the other. And Friday evening, we was up Ustons. And what we did, we went on a kind of a not such a popular path, a bit quieter, and 'twas beautiful. Birds was singing, sun was shining, fantastic. So anyway, Beth's walking a little bit ahead of me, and as I'm walking, just over me right shoulder, all of a sudden, I hear a loud crack. Now, there's no wind or nothing. 'Tis a beautiful, still evening, but I heard this loud crack, and I look around, and there's a blooming great tree there, and the branch, I'd say it was 20 foot long, hang of a branch, starts falling, and he's falling towards me. Now, what I should have done is run like hell, but I was kind of mesmerised by it, and I'm looking at this blooming branch falling towards me, and the end of it landed, I would say, 2 foot away from me. So I was fine, but I might not have been. But I should have run, but I was just mesmerised by this blooming branch. But there we are. I'm still here to tell the tale. So then Saturday, me and Days, we headed up to England. Second weekend running up to England. And this time 'twas up to London, and 'twas to see ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra, their final ever concert. Hyde Park. And that was going to be on the Sunday. Now, you may have seen in the press that they did cancel a show. I think it was Thursday, because Jeff Lynne, the main man, was poorly. But Hyde Park said they had no concerns at all that the concert on Sunday would be cancelled. So off we go. We left at 10:30 in the morning, and all the way Daisy is checking her phone, refreshing it just to see if there's any news. Now, we did get news. It was about 3:00 in the afternoon to say that the concert had been cancelled. So, as you can imagine, we was gutted, absolutely gutted. Now, by this time, we was about an hour from London. Now, if we'd had the cancellation before 12, I could have cancelled the hotel, got a full refund. But after 12, we had a look onto the website on the email, and it said, after 12 o'clock, you can extend your stay, but you can't make it shorter, and there's no refund. So we thought, well, what the hang are us going to do now? So I said, look, we're an hour from London. Why don't us go up there tonight, stay the night, and come back the next day? So that's what we did. And we arrived at the hotel, booked ourselves in. There was a lovely little, I'd say Indian, I don't know, Pakistan, I don't know, but maid there at the reception. We told her what had happened, and she said, you might not get any joy with the website, but come down in the morning before 12, see my colleague, and you may get a refund. So we said, okay. So we had a bit of food there in the hotel, and then we thought we'd go for a sightseeing look, a walk around London, because we was in Knightsbridge. So we was, not too far away. A beautiful area. I tell you what, the houses was absolutely fantastic. The cars were parked out on the street. I would say every third car was a Porsche. Every sixth or seventh car was a Bentley. Oh, absolutely fantastic. So we went for a walk. I think in the end, we ended up walking about 6 miles, which was longer than I'd thought, longer than I really wanted to, because Days obviously is expecting. But when we got to Buckingham Palace, I said, right, I'll put in the phone now, we'll get a shortcut back. And there wasn't a shortcut. So we had to walk all the way back again. But we saw some wonderful sights. I mean, when we first got there, the first thing we saw was a blooming TARDIS on the pavement, a full-size TARDIS. So I did get my photo, next to that one. And then after that, I did take a lot of photos. If you're friends with me, on Facebook, you'll see that I did do a lot of photos there of all different monuments. We went past the Albert Hall. It was brilliant. And I'll say the weather was handsome. It really was beautiful. So I said, I'll tell you what we'll do. We might as well walk over to Hyde Park because we ain't that far away. So we walked over to Hyde Park and honestly, there was hundreds of people everywhere. We couldn't believe it. And they all sat down on their blankets. They were having their picnics and everything. And we thought, crumbs, this is quite a nice thing they must do every Saturday night. But then as we're getting closer, we can hear music. So, of course, we go to where we should have been going the following night for ELO. And they got fences there, crumbs, 10, 12, 14 foot high. But you could hear this music. And I said to Days, that sounds like Stevie Wonder. And sure enough, Stevie Wonder was playing there that night. So we stayed there for a while and listened to him. And you could hear it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. We met Brian Ugaldi. I think he went. I'm sure I saw on Facebook. He went to see Stevie Wonder. And I'm sure he said he played for 3 hours solid, which was fantastic. So at least we heard a bit of Stevie Wonder, which was brilliant. And then we walked back to our hotel once we'd gone Buckingham Palace and that. And it was brilliant. Really did enjoy it, I must admit. So, by the way, if you can hear anything in the background, can you hear it or no? That's the kettle whistling. I think Beth's running now to get it. Yep, she got the kettle on the Aga. There, she just stopped it. Sorry about that. So anyway, next morning, I got up early, as usual. I thought I'd go for a run. So I went round Kensington Gardens and took some more photos again. I had a brilliant run. Very strange, really, because normally in the mornings, 'tis just me running with the dogs, maybe Beth in and out, and we don't see nobody else. Very rare we see anybody else. Crikey, running around Kensington Gardens, there was hundreds of blooming joggers everywhere, cyclists. Couldn't believe it. And it was fairly early in the morning. But I did take a photo because I did come across Cornwall Gardens, a lovely little oasis there in the middle of London, Cornwall Gardens, which is a private garden for the people, I suppose, that live in the neighbourhood there. Just quite strict what you can and can't do. There's like on the sign there, no ball games, no bicycles, no dogs, no music, no parties, no radios. But I think basically it's just to go in and sit down and enjoy the quiet. So that's what we did anyway. And then we made our way home. And it was going okay. I mean, going up, we did have a few delays. But coming back home, we got stuck on the motorway, completely stopped. And we were stopped for about 20 minutes. I did look on my phone, and that was predicting that we was going to be stuck for at least 55 minutes. But thankfully, after about 20 minutes, we started going again. But we did have a really nice, little night away sort of thing. But I do admit, we did come home feeling quite deflated, really. Felt so sorry for Jeff Lynne. I think he is quite poorly. He really is. He must have been to cancel it. And what makes it worse is that you read in the press that it was going to be the best one ever. They was going to do an extended set. There was going to be lots of special guests, and that's gone. But there we are. But we wish him a speedy recovery. And we had a nice weekend. And by the way, I did get a refund for the second night. So that made us feel a little bit better, which was good. So then on Monday, I had a funeral at Glyn Valley, and that was for John. Lovely crowd there. Lovely to see some familiar faces there, which was brilliant. Tuesday, our hearse was out on hire, and we had dear Betty's funeral. And that was at Egglesdale Church, and then back at our function room for the wake afterwards. And Betty's somebody that I've known all my life. Her husband, Terry, he used to be the painter-decorator in Wadebridge, and he used to decorate mother and father's home back when they lived up Glen Road. So that was a lovely service. That was really nice. And then yesterday, again, we're saying we're fairly quiet at the minute. Yesterday and today we had again these early funerals where nobody attends, which I say are still fairly popular. It is nice that families are coming to us for most of them and not going to these upcountry national firms, which is brilliant. And then we had Jerry's funeral today, Jerry from St Mirren, and there was a lovely gang there too. Fantastic. So that's been my week, really. I must mention Tracy McCoon, dear of her, because I was out running. I was one morning this week, early one morning, and I'm in the woods, and Tracy's coming towards me, walking her dog. And she points to her earphone. She said, "I'm listening to you." And dear of her, she only found the podcast a few weeks ago, and she started from the very beginning. And I think so far she's up to episode number 26. So it is going to take her a month or two to get up to this episode. But when she does, she'll be able to hear her name. But I did ask, have somebody ask me the other day, well, how do I hear all the previous ones? And I think the easiest way is if you Google it, Google the life and times of a Cornish funeral director, you should stumble across me. Or you can go on Spotify, iTunes, whatever, and you can go right back to the beginning. I did listen to one of the original ones the other day, and I must admit, I don't sound so relaxed as I do now. But yeah, I enjoyed it. But there we are, I'm biased. So now for today, I'm going to experiment a bit. I don't know how this is going to work, but normally when I interview somebody, I then edit out any, like, if there's large silences or bits we want to cut out, I can do that, no problem. But I always do the interview as it was recorded. But today, for part 2 of Graham's interview, what I'm going to try and do is, I had the part 1 last week, which was beginning of the episode. This week, I want to do the end of the episode, and then next week, I'll do the middle. So I'm hoping it's going to work. I think it is. And the reason I want to do that is because this Saturday coming, 7 o'clock in the evening, Wadebridge Carnival. And this bit of the interview with Graham is him talking about him, his mother, father and Uncle Charlie doing the carnival back in the 1970s, 1980s. And I thought, if I can get that to coincide with Carnival weekend, what a genius. What a genius. So that's what I'm trying to do. So hopefully it should work all right. But if you're around, you want to pop down Wadebridge, 7 o'clock on Saturday. We usually sit outside of our chapel now, and every year there seems to be a growing band of people that sit outside our chapel. You've got a nice raised area. I don't charge anything for sitting there. So we'll be heading down there anyway. And I mean, as far as I've known, the carnival have always been there. But it's interesting, when you listen to Graham's talk, it wasn't quite like that. So I will go over to Graham then. I can remember when I was young, the carnival used to go up Trevanion Road, up round Two Trees, I think it was, or did it come down Brook Road? No, I think it was Two Trees. But it used to come down Glen Road anyway, right outside our house. I mean, I lived at number 1, I lived at number 5. And you just go out and sit in your front garden on the front doorstep, and the carnival would come right down past you. But it don't go that way anymore. Well, it couldn't these days, because Glen Road is like everywhere. You couldn't get a fire engine up there, I don't think. The cars are all parked up there. 'Tis hang of a narrow. But there we are. Right, so I'll go over to Graham now. We're talking about the old vintage car, and then we're on to the carnival. And then I'll come back to it and round it off directly. So, here it is. The one thing I remember was that Uncle Charlie had the old car. What car was that?
Oh, that's another story. That's a long one. Yes, he bought in 1965, I think it was, the old breakdown truck Premier's garage,
Oh, was that?
which had started life as a very smart-looking 1928 Vauxhall open-top touring car, six-cylinder,
Right.
called the Vauxhall 2060.
Right.
And this poor old car, during the war years, had been converted into a breakdown truck. And they'd taken the dicky seat out of the back and put a crane in there.
Right.
Towing crane. And luckily they left all the folding mechanism for a hood in place, but the hood was gone.
Yeah.
And they built a wooden sides and back. It looked like a breakdown truck.
Yeah.
Which it was used as. Powerful machine.
Yeah.
And that one had been laid up for 10 years when Charlie bought it in a garage, old wooden garage in Fairport Road, close to where Uncle Charlie was working. Chapman and Company, Spar.
Yeah.
They had a store, like a warehouse, where Uncle Charlie used to be to receive the goods from various companies' vans.
Yeah.
And in the mornings, and then he'd go out on deliveries in the afternoons.
Yeah.
And so he was aware of this car being in there, and he was friendly with Joe Deacon, who was the foreman of Fairport Garage. They used to spend most lunch hours together. And Joe was into old cars, and Charlie caught the bug, really. Yeah. And he said, Charlie, there's a beauty for you next door. Why don't you ask Mr. Jones? There was Mr. Jones Jr. and Mr. Jones Sr. at that point. This is the older Mr. Jones. He was the boss. And he asked him if he'd sell it to you, because he said it's useless to them. Yeah. So anyway, he asked Mr. Jones, and he said no. He said, I think my son would like that. The younger Mr. Jones, who sadly died as well. Yes, but he kept saying no, and Charlie kept asking, as was Charlie's way, wearing him down. And one day, and he said, Charlie boy, he said, I've asked my son, and he's not interested. He's away training. He's not at all sure he wants to stay in the garage business at that point. No. So he said he's not interested in it. So he said, you can have it for £100. Right. Which was a lot of money. Yeah. In 1965. Yeah. So anyway, Charlie bought it, and it took him 15 years. And Father was helping him. Every Saturday afternoon, pretty much, they were down in the garage. Yeah. Gradually, they were bringing 7 coats of paint on her. Good, the old girl used to be painted all the time, you know. And they had Joe was in charge of the restoration, but Charlie and Father were doing as much work as they could to keep the price down. Yeah, exactly. So they were down there stripping paint off the bodywork and all that. I was out marking books and writing reports. I couldn't do a lot. But various stages of restoration took place. Eventually, it got to the mechanics needed doing, obviously, and that was a specialist job. And we needed a new dicky seat made. And there's a specialist company down west, I forgot the name for the moment, down near Red Truth Way. And there's an old boy down there who was used to making hoods. Yeah. So it took a long time. Yeah. We went through various stages of thinking, will it ever get done, you know? And then to cap the lot, poor old Joe Deacon died. Right. Within 6 weeks, he was diagnosed with cancer and had gone. And the Vauxhall was half rebuilt. There was bits and pieces all in cardboard boxes around it back in the corner of Fairport Garage. Yeah. And Charlie said, what on earth's going to happen now? And Joe was doing that, and these mechanics, you know. And Mr. Jewell, who was head of the operation Fairport, Joe was the foreman. He said, I've got a good man down here, Mr. Soddy, John Soddy. Oh dear, lovely. He said he knows as much as Joe did. He was a quiet man, but he said he'll get him back on the road for you. Yeah. Which he did. He did, Eventually, 1979, the year I came home, was the year that the old Vauxhall came out on the road. Yeah. And from then on, wow, twice a week in the season, Charlie and Father would go off with the Vauxhall. Yeah. To every rally in Cornwall. Yeah. They were going right down to Snang. And then when I could go at weekends, sometimes for school pressures I couldn't, we would go as a family, because I drove the Standard Vanguard, which was our old family car from 1955. It was a 1951 model, but we had it 4 years old when we bought it. I used to drive that one with Mother in as a passenger.
Yeah.
And Uncle Charlie and Father driving Charlie driving the Vauxhall, Father sitting passenger. And we go off as a family down to St Agnes or Morville rallies.
Yeah.
And had some lovely family weekends. Sometimes I'll be sitting in the car marking books, and then occasionally somebody'd want to chat, we were on display until the event in the ring.
Yeah.
And as I said, in teaching, you haven't got a full weekend really off.
No,
you always got marking reports, preparation of some sort. But, we had some wonderful family weekends of that.
Yeah. And Father and Uncle Charlie, they were a pair, really. Can't remember the carnivals. They did
a lot of people associate them together because of the old cars.
Yeah.
And before that, the carnivals.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant.
Again, Charlie was the ideas man.
Yeah.
He helped to revive the carnival. He was on the committee.
Oh, right.
Because back in the early 70s, the carnival stopped for a while.
Oh, I didn't know.
It was long before the bypass was built.
Yeah.
And Camelford, Wadebridge and St Cullen were bottlenecks on that road, coming down that coastal road.
That's right.
Until the bypasses were built, as Camelford still is a bottleneck.
Exactly.
St Cullen still is very awkward for traffic, but it's bypassed.
Yeah.
And Wadebridge is bypassed. But it used to be a traditional Saturday carnival.
Right. Yeah.
And I was away teaching at the time. I'm not sure of the politics of it all. But it was stopped. The police felt at the time the traffic couldn't be stopped for such a length of time for a carnival procession when it was busy season,
Yeah.
And after a few years, there's a little group, Charlie, Honey and Bunny, Hill and Bunny, Claude Hill.
Oh, yeah.
Claude Hill and Mr.
George Proctor. Yeah.
And some of the, Charlie used to call them the girls, the ladies used to work in Lang's chip shop.
Yeah.
Mother used to call one of them Dungy, I think.
Yeah. Bet.
Whether it was maiden name or married name.
Yeah, that was her maiden name.
I know their faces are in my head, but I didn't know, because I was teaching away, it was a different generation.
Yeah.
But they put on charity concerts to raise money.
Yeah.
And they organised it on. The new carnival was launched in, I think I got I made a bit of preparation before you came. The carnivals, got a scrapbook of the carnivals. 1973 it was relaunched.
Was it really?
Yeah. And they went in, Charlie wanted to be a comedy entry.
Yeah.
He was into comedy. And he was in carnivals as a young man with H.M. Chapman and Co.
Right.
He used to go Delabole, Carmel, Wadebridge, the carnival route. So he had a history. His carnivals was in his blood, And he wanted to go in a comedy class. So, shall I talk through them or leave that?
Yeah, we can definitely mention some. Yeah, definitely.
1973, we went in the first year as the Weybridge to Padstow train, because by then the closure to passengers had happened.
Yeah.
Dr. Beechin, chop, bang. Goods carried on for longer. But we went in, Charlie had this idea, we'd be the train, and we borrowed from Mr. Lang.
Yeah.
Charlie knew all the people in town well, Bob Lang and Doug Lang and the whole Lang family. And we borrowed their three-wheeler truck and a trailer, and Charlie got another trailer from somebody else, and we put together the three, and Charlie was the driver.
Fantastic.
Father was the guard at the back.
Yeah.
On the same motorised part as Charlie was Jack Thomas playing his accordion.
Oh, brilliant.
He was a local character.
Yeah, he was.
I was behind him as a banjo player.
Yeah.
And behind him was Mr. Sims, Donald Sims.
Yeah.
Now, Donald Sims was dressed up as the mayor of Wadebridge. opening this new railways.
Yeah.
It was called the new Padstow to Wadebridge railway train. And he was in a top hat and suit, and he was in a first class carriage. He had plenty of leg room and everything. And I was in the third class, so I was all cramped up. An old yokel playing a banjo, looked as if I was in the Wurzels.
You look like Adge Cutler there.
Yeah, and Jack was playing the accordion. Now, because Jack and I were, musicians, we were actually playing all the way.
God.
We were doing the Runaway Train, mainly.
Brilliant.
And it was brilliant, and we came first. But Charlie had the idea. Mother did the costumes, and I did a lot of the design work because of my maths.
Yeah.
And we built it all in advance. I did all the measurement and worked it out, and I built it up in our backyard. And the day of the carnival, Charlie came up with the wagons. We lined them up in the lane, and we lifted them out over the back wall.
Oh, God.
And put them on board, and all fitted.
Brilliant. And
the neighbours, said, amazing, how do you make all that and it fitted? I said, well, I am a maths teacher, come on.
Yeah.
And I was good at woodwork.
That is brilliant.
But that was the first year, and of course a lot of people will remember that, probably locals. 1974, we went in as top of the flops, and it was a flop. It was raining like mad.
Oh.
The whole floats were... We Jack Hart, a neighbour at White Rock Road, carpenter, builder, he rigged up a wonderful canopy with polythene to keep us dry because we had instruments again. We were called Top of the Flops. It was a takeoff of Top of the Pops. And the same little gang, Donald Sims was dressed up as Jimmy Savile. I'm afraid I've got to mention his name. And Uncle Charlie wanted to be on the float, but he couldn't play a note. But he had my old cello made out as a double bass, and we all had wigs on. I was playing actual drums.
Right.
I had my drum kit. Jack Thomas was playing actual piano accordion.
Yeah.
And Mother was on that one because Father had shingles at the time and couldn't go in that year. So she was had her mortarboard on, dressed to, like Top of the Pops in those days. They used to, little groups used to dress up, look mad.
That's right.
She was playing a dummy keyboard. He wouldn't play a note.
No.
She put her fingers in the right place here. But no, it was a washout that year. We didn't win the prize, which wasn't surprising. 1975, we came third always the comedy class. We went. It was the year where it was all about saving Britain. There was a bit of a financial crisis of some sort. It always is, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And anyway, I won't go into the detail, but we came third that year. Charlie was driving Lang's trucks again.
Yeah.
We loved borrowing those. They were very good to us.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to be a tramp, and that's how I ended up growing a beard.
Oh, right.
Because I left the stubble grow to look more like a tramp in those days. And it's summer holiday, of course. And I was make your own entertainment, stop shaving to save money, and all this. And I was playing guitar and had a kazoo all the way.
Yeah.
And when it came to the end of the summer holiday, I said, I think I've got a decent beard here. It's a bit like Noel Edmonds. I think I'll keep it.
Yeah.
And I thought, if I go back to Oakham School, I was teaching at Oakhampton. If the kids like it, I'll keep it. If the kids keep teasing me, I'll shave it off.
Yeah.
And they liked it. Oh, like your beard, sir.
Oh, very nice.
So I kept the beard, didn't I?
Yeah.
Anyway, and Father was better by then. He got well again, poor chap. And he was on the back, dressed up as a woman, with suitable balloons in appropriate places, and early drag artist. And we had an old gramophone painted up with red, white and blue, and he was, again, make your own entertainment on the back.
Brilliant.
1976 was the year of Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah.
That's where we struck.
That was good.
Struck the heart of the nation there, virtually.
Yeah.
And that's the one that most people remember them as, isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic.
They wouldn't even known that they were my uncle or father. They lived in the same house. It was just they became Weybridge's, Laurel and Hardy in folklore already. And that was a wonderful year. Won first prize, 1977. 7, because it went so well, Charlie wanted to go in as Laurel and Hardy again.
Right.
And we called it L&H Jubilee Decorators because it was the Queen's Jubilee.
Silver Jubilee, yeah.
And it said we're on the trail because they had a hit that year, on the trail of the Lonesome Pine.
That's right, yeah.
In the Virginia.
That's right. Yeah.
On the trail of the Lonesome Pine. Things like that. And the logo, which I always did the printing and writing. We're on the trail with the leftover paint. And it was all reds, whites and blues. And Ollie had a big pot and Father Stan had a little pot. We emphasised the difference between them. But we didn't win a prize. Perhaps they thought it wasn't as good as the year before, and it probably wasn't. 1978, we got first prize again. We went in as what Wadebridge needs is bypass builders and sewage farm builders, because both of those, the public wanted it, but it wasn't happening. And Charlie was again up front on Lang's trucks. That photo on the bridge I'm showing you now, Dave, was featured on front page Mr. Tuttle's books about Cornwall.
Yeah.
He chose that one on the front page. Uncle Charlie was dressed as a builder with a silly old Wurzel hat and a high-vis jacket on the front. And then the second truck was me. I was called Professor Looney. And at that time, 1978, I hadn't come back to Wadebridge to teach.
Right.
So nobody knew me, and
No.
the children didn't know me. And I can see in the photo here, Eilidh Tatlow as a little girl. She later she was in my form. I taught her from maths.
Yeah.
It was weird. Anyway, Professor Looney, he was connected. He had this wonderful machine, and I had all these funny BBC sound effects records.
Oh, yeah.
Weird machine noises, and supposed to have been the sewage machine. And then, dare I say it, there was a trailer at the back made to look like a top of the garden toilet from the old days. And Charlie's idea was to have an old pair of leather boots at the bottom, visible under the door, as if somebody was in there. So people didn't know whether it was real. And Father was outside as a garden, another builder, bypass builder. And during the procession, if they stopped, he'd knock on the toilet door and say, "Haven't you finished yet? I want to go in there." Somebody else wrote in and all this. And we won first prize on that one.
Brilliant.
That was a good year. 1979, we went in as a family on holiday in Cornwall. Lang's trucks again, but rained and rained and rained. Absolutely terrible day for the concert. But we won first prize again, and the best in show.
Oh, really?
So I don't know why, really. Perhaps they were sorry for everybody, but we got absolutely soaked.
Yeah.
I was providing entertainment again as usual.
Yeah.
I had a piano accordion that year, playing holiday type songs. We do love to be beside the seaside, but I had it covered. We were worried it was going to be ruined. I had polishing sheets over it, and it was sad, but all dressed up. Father was wee Willie Winky, dressed in long johns, and he had a hat, dangly hat that Mother knitted, and a portrayal as usually the old man, gone to bed in the old days with a candlestick.
Yeah.
And the middle section that year was a bed, a camping bed. And he would get in and out of bed and say, "I can't sleep, it's raining." And Charlie said, get back in bed, you fool. I want to go there next year. And they always had that little jokiness. 1980 was the first time the car was actually running.
Yeah.
So we just went in to the classic car section. And Mother couldn't go in that year. She was ill. Not seriously, but she didn't feel like going in the carnival that night. So Father Charlie and me went in, and that was fun, just to ride around town.
Yeah, exactly.
In a different way. 1981, Charlie wanted to get back to comedy.
Yeah.
We went in as Andy, Cat and Flo from the Daily Mirror.
Yeah.
And I got pictures here of them all. Again, Mother was the costume lady. I was the ideas person as well, and Charlie. And we actually wrote to the Daily Mirror. We came first again. and asked if they could supply us with any cartoons to put on the float.
Yeah.
And they did.
Brilliant.
Which we stuck around the edge. And we sent them a copy of the photograph in the carnival taken on the plate, and they wrote a nice letter back.
Yeah, brilliant.
Congratulating us. Almost finished. 1982, we went in the classic car section again. Father and Charlie in the Vauxhall and me and Mother in the Vanguard. Got first prize for the Vauxhall in that particular year with that. 1983, no entry.
Right.
I'd written here in my scrapbook the Vauxhall was to be entered, but was laid up in the Fair Park garage for a month with a knocking noise. Eventually found to be a rear axle bearing. The Vanguard was not entered because it recently had an engine overhaul and was slightly prone to overheating. So that was a gap year. And then the last year they entered was 1984, and that was first prize for the Vauxhall again.
Brilliant.
But just Charlie and Father.
Yeah.
So that was it. That was their run of carnival entries.
Brilliant. So much work involved, wasn't it?
There was. That was one reason we gave up in the end. Because Charlie thought, well, the car's been in enough. People would get fed up with that one.
Yeah.
Mother was getting a bit fed up with it.
Yeah.
She said, it takes up every summer, Charlie. You know, she used to say, Graham's on a holiday. He's not getting a holiday because he's working for this. She said, you and William are working flat out in the evenings making stuff.
Yeah.
She said, it's taking over our life. I think it's time we step back, really.
Yeah. Well, there we are. Thank you, Graham. Proper job. And we'll have our next instalment next week. For me Cornish word of the week, this is another easy one. Last week's was easy. We had the Cornish word for skull, which is skull. And this week's just as easy as well. You'll be bilingual before you know it. We can go in for the Cornish word for carnival, which is carnival. Carnival. So it is, well, just one letter different, really, is it? Something like that? Fantastic. Carnival. So there we are. We'll be having the speaking Cornish before you know it. For me Cornish dialect of the week, I think I'll do a translation of dialect. So if I was to say, if you were saying in English, where is that? Where is that? You'd say, where's that to then? Where's that to then? So that has been a little bit of dialect for this week. Right, well, I'm going to leave you now because we've overrun hangish this week, I tell you. But I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. I might see you at the carnival on Saturday, all being well. If not, I'll see you next week. Wish ye well. Do Guinness. Carna bis ficken.